object, clip and mask, make. And so now you see I have my photo masked with 3 different objects grouped together. So that's the same that you can do with the type. So sorry if it was to you last time, but again, I want you to do your homework, and this is another way to do it. And also, I mean, the photo's still there since it's a clip and mask, so you can replace that and do what you want with it. Okay, so now that is clipping mask. So clipping mask is done. All right, now we're going to go to image trace now. Image trace used to be called live trace, and with live trace, I hardly ever found a good use for it. I mean, it just didn't work, that well. But now this image trace is greatly improved. So let's take a look at that. So just create another new document here, and let's place a photo. Okay, so we have our photo here. Now, as you can see, image trace is one of the options in the control panel, and you can get to image trace a few ways. Go to Object, Image Trace, and Make. And this dialog box will come up. The tracer may proceed slowly with this large image, which you can continue. And also it says something very weird. To reduce the image size, rasterize to a lower resolution using object resolution. I highly advise against that because this is already a raster image, a high resolution one. So it's going to downgrade it to a lower resolution, and that will defeat the whole purpose of what you want to do with the image tracing, because once you image trace it, it'll be a smaller file size anyway. So I would select do not show again so that doesn't pop up again. But I'll leave it for now because I have other things. I may have to do this later. You never know, I might have to do another take. Okay, so the default is black and white. Don't want black and white, I want color. So you're going to pull up, so you want to pull up the image tracing panel here, where it has all your options here. Here's the outline mode, black and white, which you already have. Grayscale, don't want that. And low color. So let's just see what low color does. So it's going to take a while for this to process everything because it's really compacting and doing a lot of work, and to make this image trace looks good. So, and while this is taking a little while to do, I mean, it's saving you a lot of time if you were going to do this by hand. Okay, so now this is what live trace would probably have given you back in the day. So that's not what I want either. So now I'm going to take preview off, so this goes a lot faster, and go to high color. Preview is still on. I was trying to spare you this, but in any case, while this is going on, excuse me, the image trace is a lot more effective now. And you have all these different options available to you, which I'll show you once this stops doing its thing. But it's going to create, a really awesome looking piece that live trace never could have given you. Okay, so now it's good. So now, so now this is not quite as good, but it's still a lot better than live trace ever did. So you can check check it against the source by holding down this eye, and you can see that's the original photograph, and that's that. So it's very close. And just to show you that these are all the paths that are created now here. So let's go back to the trace and result. And right now I haven't committed to anything, like nothing's committed. So I haven't saved the file, I haven't expanded it, so I can still do a lot here. So under Advanced, you can change how the paths are. You make the corners more precise if something's a little rounded. And if there's any noise, the higher the noise value, or how you put the noise setting, it reduces the noise in the image trace. Now also down here you can see it's just 4,605 colors. So and here I don't even have it up to the full amount. So let's crank this baby up and see what it can really do. So I'm going to put this all the way to 100. And now I'll preview this. So now we got a little progress bar going again. And we're going to see something really awesome. I mean, Image Traces has definitely improved the tracing functions. You know, it's miles away from what it used to be, even though there are still some little hiccups, and I'll get to that later. Okay, so let's just let this finish, and then look at what we have wrought once this is done. Okay, so since I'm using a lot of colors, it's taking a little bit longer time, but the wait will be well worth it, because this will be an awesome image to look at. I mean, you won't even believe that this is traced. Okay, so now we saw that little jump there. So this is it. So now, I mean, just look very close. Look at the detail in the tabletop, in the cup, and let's compare it to the original. Hold down the source, and you can see it's very, very close. And also now I got 20,224 colors. And let's look at that with the outlines. So you can see a lot more outlines, a lot more paths. Here are the outlines by itself. So you can see, I mean, it would take you hours to do all of this, maybe weeks to get this kind of detail. But some of you may be, you know, into that. So, you know, if you do it by hand, if you want to go to it, but this, if you want, you know, this is a good starting point. Okay, so now I have that the way I want. Oh, and this is another option here, auto color. Anything that it does automatically for you usually goes to the lower common denominator, so the results aren't good. So just go in here and just do what you want. Okay, so now I've got everything the way I like it. So now I'm going to click expand. And now here it is. So you lose any option to use image trace again, because now it's all paths. So let's just zoom out a little bit. Okay, you can see now this is a vector, but when you're looking at it, it looks like a photograph. I mean, let me go to my direct selection tool. Whoops. Just stop that. Don't know what happened there. So let me go to my direct selection tool, and you can see, did I do something here? Yep, yes, I did. It reverted back to a photograph. I must have hit the wrong key by mistake. So let's just get it back. We do expand tracing. Okay, like I said, everything has a simple answer. So a direct selection tool, and as you can see, you know, these are all little paths. So let's go back in. So you can see all of these are little paths that are here. So I have a nice vector image, and I can edit this. So that's really great too. Okay, so that's image trace with photographs. Obviously you can put drawings that you've done and scan that in and get the same result. Okay, so now I want to show you kind of the downside. So let's go to, here's a logo that I designed, because there will be times when a client may give you a logo and you need it as a vector. So image trace should save the day, but if it's a really bad, and I really did this badly, so that because a really low quality JPEG, I should say, from my original vector artwork. So now let's see what image trace does with this. So I have, it's not strictly black and white logo since I have shades of gray, so I'm going to pick shades of gray. Not really a good result. Now we're back to the live trace days. Let's pull up the image trace menu, see if I can get something different happening. So here, let's see if I could boost this up. Okay, still not a big improvement. Even if I go to high color and trace it, again, not a big improvement. So depending on what you start with black and white art, you may have to do a lot of fiddling around, to get this to look like something that you can use. But obviously, the simpler it is, if it's just a block shape, but if it's a little bit more complex, you may not get, your mileage may vary. So just want to warn you of that. So now now you've been forewarned. So it can do photographs and color art excellently, black and white, unless it's, strictly black and white, you're going to get varied results and you have to play around with it. So this is still a big improvement over what Live Trace did. But okay, so in any case, you've been warned. All right, now let's get to your homework for today, for this lesson. Okay, so now this looks like a photograph that I might have composited in Photoshop, but I did not, because these are all, this is an image trace I've already done. So this is all vector. So you see. Now, let me show you what happens when, because remember I told you not to rasterize, to downgrade. So here's what happens when you rasterize a raster artwork in Illustrator using that little function when it said to do that. It's because now it's not as crisp as the other photograph that it was. It's a little mushy. I mean, it's still good. And again, just to show you that these are still vectors. So let's go to outline mode, and you can see all the paths that were created for that. All right, now your homework assignment is I've given you the photographs that I started with here, and I want you to recreate this. Now again, it's a little bit different from previous assignments because I've taken the training wheels off. So you're going to put your thinking caps on and figure out what I did to recreate this and do this. So you already have all the tools and information you need to figure out how to do this. So it may take a while, but just remember, this homework assignment builds on the previous one that you have done before. So again, use the 3 photographs that are just stock photography, and I've made them low res so you don't have to wait so long for the image trace to happen. So you can just concentrate on doing this. So, and for kicks, I mean, you can try to fine tune this, add some other photographs to it, whatever. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for coming. So go out and just create.